Hello universe, welcome to my world. Today when we're doing an Angelina Jordan video, she's recently covered a Backstreet Boys song on TikTok, and the song is called As Long As You Love Me. Now this song is basically a love song, and when we introduce the song you can hear it's done very tenderly by almost every version we will hear. To introduce the song, we're going to hear a singer-songwriter from London by the name of Harriet.
Although loneliness has always been a friend of mine, I'm leaving my life in your hands. People say I'm crazy and that I am blind, risking it all in a glance. And how you got me blind is still a mystery. I can't get you out of my head.
Also based in London is Paul Canning. He also does a very tender version of the song in a very similar vein.
Although loneliness has always been a friend of mine, I'm leaving my life in your hands. People say I'm crazy and that I'm blind, risking it all in a glance. And how you got me blind is still a mystery. I can't get you out of my head.
The next version we will hear is from Philip Arroyo. He features a song in a musical about the works of Max Martin. Max Martin is the original writer of this song. Again, another tender version.
Although loneliness has always been a friend of mine, I'm leaving my life in your hands. People say I'm crazy and that I am blind, I'm risking it all in a glance. And how you got me blind is still a mystery. I can't get you out of my head.
Next we're going to Nashville, Tennessee to a boy band group by the name of Anthem Lights. They do pop and rock and Christian and gospel music, and theirs is also a similar tender version.
Although loneliness has always been a friend of mine, I'm leaving my life in your hands. People say I'm crazy and that I am blind, risking it all at a glance. And how you got me blind is still a mystery. I can't get you out of my head.
They're a boy band, as is the original group who sang the song Backstreet Boys. And let's take a major diversion and look at the phenomena of what boy bands are all about. This is actually an Angelina Jordan channel, but it's also a music appreciation channel. And some of you might wonder how we can use the word appreciation and boy band in the same sentence. But it's important to look at the full scope of what the music industry is all about. Boy bands are sometimes known as teen pop, and they're usually made of either teenage boys or lads in their young 20s. And it's a massively popular genre, especially with teenage girls. And all these boy bands have a lot of high energy, and they have a lot of slick production and slick dance movements. And the reason why this is all relevant to Angelina Jordan is this is part of the competition of what she's up against in terms of competing in the market. And ultimately, long term, she might want to appeal to a wider audience herself. Now, the term boy band is a relatively recent term. It only came about in the 90s, and there were boy bands well before that. Sometimes boy bands were just a group of mates which came together, maybe joining a choir together, like with Anthem Lights, who we've just heard. Sometimes the boy band are all members of the same family, which will be our first two examples, which we will hear shortly. But also, boy bands are put together by the music industry for marketing purposes. And this is very true with a band like One Direction. So let's look at different boy bands over the last 50 years, and each one of these has had a huge solo artist emerge from each of these boy bands. First, we will hear the Jackson 5 in the early 70s, and the youngest of the Jackson 5 emerged as one of the superstars of pop, and his name, of course, is Michael Jackson. Also in the early 70s, also another family group, are the Osmonds, and emerging from that group as a soloist was Donny Osmond.
Girl, when you hold me, how you control me, you bend and you hold me, any way you please.
In the 90s, we had New Edition emerging out of Boston, and this group was founded by Bobby Brown, who went on to be a famous soloist. Bobby Brown is better known as Mr. Whitney Houston.
On a perfect day, I know that I can count on you. When that's not possible, tell me, can you ever restore?
In England, 20 years ago, we had the massively popular group Take That. And emerging from that group was the soloist Robbie Williams, who's had a massive career.
I guess now it's time for me to give up. I feel it's time. Got a picture of you beside me. Got your lipstick mark still on your coffee cup. Oh, yeah.
And 20 years ago, we had an Irish boy band by the name of Boyzone. The famous soloist from that group was Ronan Keating. And notice that they covered the famous Osmond song that we just heard, Love Me for a Reason. And massively popular a few years ago was NSYNC. And from that group emerged Justin Timberlake, who's had a fantastic career since then. And more recently, we have One Direction, a group out of England. The soloist that emerged from here is Harry Styles.
Baby, you light up my world like nobody else. The way that you flip your hair gets me overwhelmed. But when you smile at the ground, it ain't hard to tell. You don't know you're beautiful.
Now we come to the original singers of our original song, and these are the Backstreet Boys. This is a boy band which came out of Florida. And before we hear our main feature song today, my favorite song of theirs is Everybody. For me, this is a fantastic video. The production and the care and the detail is just incredible. It reminds me quite a bit of Michael Jackson's Thriller. I don't think of this video as ghoulish. I just think of this as very creative on many levels. And when Backstreet Boys do our featured song, As Long As You Love Me, it doesn't quite have the same tenderness as the first four versions we've heard. It's more slick than tender. It doesn't quite denote the same depth of feeling that we heard before.
Although loneliness has always been a friend of mine, I'm leaving my life in your hands. People say I'm crazy and that I am blind, risking
do eventually come to Angelina Jordan, and here we are. Angelina Jordan has recently covered this song on TikTok, and the reason I have this channel is to show how she can completely change a song with feeling and tone, and she does this song in a very lush way. For me, almost every word is layered, thick and rich. And she does a couple of very innovative things when she does this 1-minute version. When she sings the word crazy, she doesn't actually sing the word. She just says it without singing it, which makes it more striking. And the last few words of her song, "As You Love Me," her voice goes into a different dimension. Listen to how she ends the song as well.
Although loneliness has been a friend of mine, I'm leaving my life in your hands. People say I'm crazy and that I am blind, risking it all in the glass. Yeah, how you got me blind is still a mystery. I can get you out of my head. Don't care what is written in the history, as long as you're here with me. I don't care who you are, where you're from, don't care what you did, as long as you love me. Who you are, where you're from, don't care what you did, as long as you love me.
It's not so much that she reinterprets the song. She injects it with a different type of feeling, which makes us view the song in a completely different way. She does this over and over again. This is why we have an Angelina Jordan channel. And we will continue to have an Angelina Jordan channel to keep looking how she breathed new life into songs. Okay, gang, I'm out of here. I'll catch you later. Bye.